That's right. It's time once again for another riveting episode of Behind the Agent, where we peek behind the agent to see what's going on. And we're going to learn about one of those guys right about now. Welcome, everybody, to Behind the Agent. I'm your host, Frank Ray, and I'm here with my good friend, Andy Rupley, out in the Northern California and Northwest Nevada area. We're glad to have you here, Andy. I can't wait to get talking to you and find out some stuff. I'm going to give you another big cheer. Thanks for being on the show. All right, let me get you guys filled in on Andy real quick. All right, he works with Smith Properties and Remax Professionals. He covers Northeast California and Northwest Nevada. That's where you've got Smith Properties in one place, Remax Professionals in the other. Home base for you physically is the Susanville area in Northern California. But here's something I want you guys to understand. You're going to hear some numbers. You're going to learn a bunch of stuff today from a guy who's been in the business only 3 years. Yes, I said only 3 years. Okay. So when we're going to get to those numbers, let's just talk about that. Oh, how's this? How about 50 sides, 50 transactions, 50 sides in the last 6 months? Yeah. We're going to give you the old ka-ching on that one, but I'm going to give you another one. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, bro, killing it, destroying it, making things happen. Here's where we start, though. Andy Rupley, what in the world were you thinking when you thought,
seriously,
real estate, that's a good idea, only 3 years ago? How'd you get there? How'd you get in real estate?
So my grandpa was a broker and developer in Nevada and California. So when I was a little guy, I'd go hang out with my grandpa and he'd drag me to the sites, when he bought over, a bankrupt builder that lost his subdivision. My grandpa would buy him from the bank and go get him going and sell them off. So he kind of would drive me around to his sites, and I'd get to go see his contractors and all that kind of stuff. And I always thought it was cool. And my grandma was a businesswoman, so she knew books and she took care of the books for the business, and she did a phenomenal job. So I always saw the business side as well, which was always inspiring to me. And I got into business. I started running pharmacy chains. So I worked for a large multinational corporation, and I ran the couple stores here, a couple stores there, and then I just got tired of the corporate world. Then I bought a frozen yogurt chain, and then I sold that off because I got offered a professorship. So I actually came to be a professor, and I was a professor for about 6 years.
Where at?
And huh?
Where at?
Oh, Lassen Community College.
Cool.
So they
Lassen?
invited me out to a
Nice.
brand new program to start, and started the program out. Did a phenomenal job getting it going. Grew the FTEs, so full-time equivalent students. And I'm always a person like, what's the next thing? So once I get a mastery, it's like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And I was like, you know what? I need to get into real estate. I've been buying and selling my own over the years. And I know that I can jump in there and I could take care of my clients in a way that other people don't. That I've seen within the market. So
you through your career path, you were dabbling in real estate. You were buying and selling real estate, rental properties.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And a little bit of that inspiration clearly came from grandma and grandpa, watching what he did and she did. When you were talking about your grandma and grandpa, I could just see them in my mind. Like, he's out there doing the work, she's back at home doing the books. You know what I mean? And they had this really cool little business that they were running together, huh?
Yeah. Well, and she owned a liquor chain.
Oh,
so
wow.
A distribution chain.
You come from a family of entrepreneurs. It sounds like that's kind of just in your blood a little bit.
Well, interesting enough, I came like my mom and my dad, and both of their sides. My grandma, my grandpa were my inspiration, but my actual mom, father, we were just blue collar warehouse workers.
Okay.
So I was definitely not raised with academia or raised in the business sense.
Right. But so, grandma and grandpa had things going on. And okay, exactly. I didn't want to divert too far off that, but I just see this picture. Okay, so professor, Lassen College, you've got some real estate experience on your own, buying, selling. Then what? Just one day you just think, I'm going to go into the. I think I can do it good or do it better, and I just wanted to go into it.
What I did is I finished up. I was earning my PhD at the same time, so I finished up my PhD and I was done with that. And I was like, okay, what's next? And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about my getting a real estate license. I was going to do that years ago. So I'm like, let's go after it. So went and got my real estate license, and then I was doing full-time academic work, and then full-time doing real estate. And
So this is 3 years ago.
yeah,
So this is 2021 or
yeah,
2020.
pandemic stuff actually. So
Yeah.
that's when I was actually doing the studying and getting ready and taking the test and all that.
Can I
Um,
ask you this? Is Smith Properties your own company?
no. Mm-mm.
Okay, so you're going to go in, you're doing your testing, you're getting your licensing.
Yep.
Why Smith Properties?
So we're the biggest producer by far in the area with
In the
inventory.
in okay, in your
Sig-
neck of the woods.
yeah,
Okay.
significantly. So,
Okay.
and I bought a rental property from the broker. I was like, hey, I'm moving here. I need something to buy. I need to do a 1031 exchange. What do you got? So
Yeah.
he sold me a fourplex, and just through that transaction, I was like, okay, I can see that he knows what he's talking about. And obviously he does. He's been in business 44 years or 45
Okay.
years or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Okay,
why I was
so
like, that's the one I want to go for.
that's how you got the connection to Smith
Yeah.
and okay, now I'm getting into it. So obviously this is the choice,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So
Yep.
okay, awesome. So about 3 years ago you got licensed and you decided,
Mhm.
hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And you said you were doing academic work and real estate kind of side by side for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Do you
Yep.
still do the
No.
college? Okay.
No. So I let the college work,
Okay.
and I just got so busy where I was like, okay, and I love this. And I do have my own business that is structured in a way that most agents should, but I structured a business that I work for my business that happens to get paid for by Smith Properties with commission checks.
Okay. We got
Yeah.
things going on over here. We got
Yeah.
stuff cooking. All
Yeah.
right. So you get in, you're now a full-time realtor. Did you get your broker's license or your sales?
Sales.
Sales. Okay. So,
Yep. Sales in
okay.
both states. Yeah.
All right. So you got your
Yeah.
sales license in California, you got your sales license in Nevada.
Yep.
You pull the trigger, you start actually going out and getting real estate. So I always like to go here next,
Mhm.
as anybody who watches would know, the first deal, the first real deal, not mom,
Uh-huh.
brother,
Yep.
pal. No, you harvested a deal out of
Oh
the
yeah.
market on your own, whether it
Yep.
be a listing or a buyer. How'd you get it?
Yep. So I procured a listing. So, and it was vacant land, 160 acres of vacant land. It's part of one of the old school lots. They were from way back in the day that the feds were selling off lots to get money for schools. That's why they
Mm,
call them school lots.
mm.
And so I saw it hit Facebook. So social media. Someone posts on Facebook, I'm looking for someone to help me sell my mom's property. And that was my first in. So it was immediate contact. It
Was
was
it in a
phone number.
group or did it just show up on
It
your
was through,
feed?
no, what it did is it showed up onto like a local Facebook market
Group, group.
group.
Okay,
Yeah,
market. Oh, like
exactly.
okay, all right, good enough. So
Yeah.
somebody saying, "Hey, I need to sell this. Who can help me?" And you were just like, "Shoo."
First one. Yep. First one
Mhm.
jumped in there. And when it gets to saying, how do you do this, is like, be personal, be yourself. Don't be someone you're not. So that's what I did. I just be myself. This is who I am. I'm direct. I'm not going to sit there, and I don't hold back much. So just be forward. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to help you. And you're not going to find too many people that are going to go above and beyond like I do.
Can I ask you on that first deal? Found it on Facebook in the group. You swooped on it right away. Was that through IM instant message or was it
Yeah.
through? Okay,
It
so it's
was through
through
an instant message. Yep.
and they responded. They were like,
Yeah.
"Great, give me a call." Basically, the next thing you know, you're talking on the phone, kind of a thing, and you went from there.
Talking on the phone and then doing a live Facebook video.
Let me ask
So
you. Let me ask you this. So, and that's cool. And what I took away from that is, and this is a big thing. If for any salesperson, I don't care if you're real estate,
mhm,
mortgage, car sales, whatever,
yeah,
first to the lead, man. If you can be first
yeah,
to the lead, in fact, there's stats out there that like most people are going to work with the first person that they talk to. They may only talk
yeah,
to two, but they'll typically still work with the first person that they talk to.
correct.
So right on, kudos. So you
Yep.
got. Hey, side note, you've got this great education, your PhD, et
Yeah.
cetera. Did you ever take any sales training?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So that's interesting.
No. My
So,
my mar my degree in my undergrad was in marketing. So that's
okay,
like my background
marketing.
is in marketing, but I
Okay.
focused more on the research side,
Okay.
rather than the sales side.
Gotcha.
So
So research side of market. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so you're in, you get your first deal.
Yeah.
And I want to get to today. In the past 6 months, 50 sides.
Mhm.
I want to get there quickly because we like to keep these short. But how did you start gathering business? Well, now let's just get right to it. You got 50 sides in the past 6 months.
Mhm.
You've only been in it 3 years. I mean, geez
Yeah.
Louise. So, I mean, come on. Like, where is it coming from? How do you get what are these deals? Are they mainly listings? Are they
Mhm.
buyers? Are they, what do we got going on? Where do you get them?
So I'm about a 70-30, where I represent 70% of my clients are buyers, 30% are listings.
Okay.
And then some of those listings are now coming from repeat clients that were buyers.
Got it.
So that's where
Already.
yeah, already, yeah, because the whole idea, and I'm all for sharing and helping and building. So building people up, and with the people that I'm selling to as a buyer, I'm like, hey, we're not looking for your forever home. Very, very, very rarely. You're talking single digit percentage. Someone buys a house anymore and stays in it for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So let's get you something that checks the majority of our boxes, and let's find that home for you 2, 3 years down the line. And once we get our equity built up, your credit built up, and everything looking better, we fine everything, and then we trade you up. Then we'll graduate you into the next house.
Step
And
up, step up.
exactly, exactly, because after 2 years, you're not paying capital gains tax on the sale of a property.
Right.
So then let's get you to the next point where 100% of all your equity we can throw at a
Goes
house.
to the next one.
Yeah, and I just did that 3 times last month, where I
No way.
sold, so I had the listing, I sold it to the buyer, and then the seller that I listed it with is now buying with me on another property in which that I had the seller. So I'm getting side, 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 side.
Oh, dude.
And
Nice.
it's not, and I don't do the pressure game. Some people may be thinking right now, if they're watching this, oh, he's pressure. I don't pressure. I'll say, if you don't like it, let's walk. Let's go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. I'm not here to pressure you into anything. I am not a car lot salesperson, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, there's some people that that do that, but that's not how I operate, and I never will. If someone comes to one of my listings and is like, "Well, I don't like it," cool. Let's go to the next one.
Move
Let's
on.
list what we don't
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
we can carry that on through all the places we go see.
I think it's so interesting to hear this methodology that you're using because you've been in the business such a short period of time, yet you're already turning people that
Hmm.
you've put into a property and moving them to the next one
Hmm.
with this 2-year plan with the capital gains.
Hmm.
Are these people you're working with like this, are these primarily first time home buyers?
Yeah. So I get a quite a bit of first time home buyers.
Where do you get
So
them?
I get a lot of leads from all over. I do lead generation through my pool. So going through clients and people that I know, I follow up with my
Your sphere of
clients.
influence.
Oh yeah. So I've got the sphere of influence, like the buzzwords that like thrown out there, and then
Mhm.
also it's doing other leads. Some people like to slam certain companies, whether it be realtors, Zillow, or anybody else, and like, oh, they really don't turn. Well, I'm pretty sure that if you get them one lead of someone that's looking for a vacant piece of land, that's a side. That's somebody that needs help buying a piece of property. They may want to buy another one, and may
Yeah.
want to buy another one, and may
Yeah.
want to buy another one, or graduate up and then move up and then move up. I don't turn away $10,000 vacant lots
So
like
here,
other people
so
will.
and just so you know, and so I've interviewed plenty of people.
Mhm.
There's nothing. There's no the buying the lead thing is cool. Like people do it, right? You can work this and you can do it
Yeah,
properly. It's no big deal.
yeah.
But you're saying this is one of the sources
This
is
is definitely one of the
through
sources.
buying
Yeah,
through buying. How big of a budget
yeah.
do you have for that? If you don't mind sharing. If you don't want to share, it's fine. I don't
I spend a fair amount
a fair amount.
on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
a fair amount.
so
Yeah,
what you're doing, but by
more than I
doing,
thought I would have. More than I
yeah,
thought I would have. But
yeah,
I like math. I like statistics.
it's
And
all
if it
numbers, right?
oh, it is. That's where I can do the numbers thing, and I don't have to do the people thing. Or I can sit and just bake in my numbers and just, okay, what is my ROI on each one of these platforms? What is my return? How can I maximize that return to increase my ROI? And what do I have to do for my CRM? My customer resource management
Sure.
program that I'm going to do, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call this, your
Yeah.
CRM.
CRM. Yeah.
But when I'm utilizing that, I utilize every single one of them. And then if I'm finding something is not giving me the return, I use my negotiation skills and I go to my rep and say, it's not paying the bills. How are
Yeah.
you going to actually make it to where I get this ROI? Where right
Yeah.
now I'm at about a 15% conversion rate on my clients.
That's right. It's so funny. I was going right there. I was going to ask, what's
Yeah.
the conversion rate? Here's the
Yeah.
good news. You know what it is,
Well,
right? I
and
mean, a
that's
lot of people don't
a fair
know,
amount.
right?
Well, a lot of the majority of people don't know, and that's one of the things when I was teaching at the college was know your numbers. And if there's anything that I learned better than anything you can do in a college is a lecture from one of my district managers on why don't you know this number? Well, that taught me more than my marketing 210 class because my district manager right here in my face saying, "How do you not know what your customer service surveys are? How do you not know?" And just drilled me on my numbers. From that day forward, no one's going to get me on my numbers. I'm going to know my numbers. So I'd tell the other agents out there, know your numbers, know your returns. If anyone can say, "What's your conversion rate?" You go, "What's conversion rate?" We got an issue. We need to have a discussion.
You're right. You're kind of just groping in the dark, really, if you don't know your numbers. So okay, so let's keep going. This has been great. In fact, I'm just going to title this thing "Know Your Numbers." I'm
The
already there.
buzzword's already there.
Yeah, yeah.
Title's
So
there.
that's already there. Yeah,
Know your
but
numbers.
know your numbers. So
Yeah.
interesting. Would you say that's the majority? If you're gonna give me the pie chart, where's 80% comes from here, 20% here, 50% here, or whatever. What would it be? Where the business comes from in that sphere of influence, bought leads, referral. What would you say that roughly?
Almost 70%.
70% is the bought leads,
The lead gen.
converting the
Yeah.
bought leads.
Exactly. Converting those. And I just we'll get to the whole what do you recommend, but those leads I can have down to a dollar amount. If I see a lead coming in from a specific platform, a dollar pops in my head
You know how much that leads cost you.
to where I know what that lead costs, but I also know what that lead is possible for generation.
Got it.
What
Yeah, I
will
got
it
you.
generate?
Yeah.
And the utmost thing that I have to give credit to is my faith. So there's times where, hey, this is a brutal market.
Yeah.
This is a tough business to
Yeah.
be in.
Yeah.
But each time I get one of those tough little stabs in the backs or whatever it is from someone used me
Whatever.
to show a property to have their
Yeah.
cousin write it or their friend write it from a
Yeah.
different area and whatever that may be, each time my wife is there, my wife is right there right now.
Yeah.
Super supportive and she's like, don't worry, double portions are coming. And it's crazy how it works out because right now I have two Jasons. I have two sales be on a property on a street that's the same name. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like double portions.
That is so
So it's
cool.
like just stay to who I know that I am and stay to my
Yeah.
principles and don't go down that hole. Like, no,
I, I
stay out
love
of
it.
that.
I love the fact that your faith plays big into your business, and we're the same over here in my house. My wife and I
Yeah.
just prayed just
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Some tough situations going on. It's all right. And it's
Sound
all
it out.
good.
Yeah.
None of this. Hey, look. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, none of this really matters, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is our work. This is what we do.
Yeah.
We got to work, but there's a bigger
Yeah.
picture, and it's all good. Well, that's awesome. So,
Yeah. That's
so
our
it's
core
about
values. Our core values literally are based in that and come out of that.
amen. Good stuff.
So, yeah.
So 70%
Roughly,
uh
yeah.
would
Really
be,
close to that.
but okay, and I got to move on because I don't want to just go long, but
Okay.
let's look at conversion rates and the CRM. Does the CRM do a lot of the heavy lifting for you? Is it dripping on them? Is it contacting
No,
them, or it's just
no.
getting them
I
in,
do not.
organizing, but you do all your outreach?
I will not do that.
So
So I
okay.
know a lot of people are big into that. I am not. I'm a personal touch person. To where I'm going to
Okay.
pick up the phone call and I'm going to call, or I'm going to shoot a text, or it's going to come from me personally. It's not going to come from a robot saying, "How are you doing?" and it's playing like me.
Yeah.
I don't do that game. Just like I don't have a transaction coordinator. I
Okay.
do not utilize a TC. So last month when I closed 22 sides, that's me on
Yeah.
every single
Wow.
transaction
Well, you got to be
on
organized. That's
well, I have some OCD and some stuff like that, which are perfect for this industry. And so I've got some of
yeah.
that
I
going on,
can't
and
help it.
yeah, and then sprinkle in a whole bunch of type A, and it's like
Yeah.
it works.
It's
I'm
neat. It's a bit of a
very
perfect
linear
storm. Yeah.
in that
It's a
way.
bit
Oh, it
of
is. Oh,
yeah.
it is. So without a TC or any of that, so every single in California, the Nevada side doesn't see this, but every single one of our disclosures is done by me, is wrote by me, is typed
Mm,
by me,
mm,
is sent to the clients, and I'm communicating with them. They're not getting it from Pete and Sarah and Jill and all of that. And they're like, wait, who am I talking with? My
mm,
clients always know they're going to talk to Andy. On any
mm,
issue, they're going to
mm,
talk to Andy.
mm, mm.
On any email, they're going to get it from Andy or their lender, but it's going to come from me.
Real quick before we get to advice, since you are doing all the follow up, you're doing all the outreach on the inbound leads. How uh, I've got 100 leads. How often and in what way is it? Phone call once a week, or is it a text once every 2 weeks, or is there a method to the follow up?
Yeah. So if I get any type of lead, it's an immediate follow up with phone call. And if they want a text, then it's immediate follow up with a text. And then it's a follow up 2 days later. And then after that, it's 4 days after the 2 days. And then I'll follow up 2 weeks after that. But I'm not going to be a door knocker and sit there and, hey, hey, hey. If I've got to the end of the month and that person's not communicating back, hey, they're not ready. That's
So you just
fine.
move them
It,
aside. They're in the
no,
bucket, but I'm not gonna bug them anymore. So
nope.
that becomes
Mm-mm.
somewhat scalable then, because you're only taking it
Yes.
so far, but you are doing it
Yeah.
and I can only imagine that you're doing it with using the CRM. Are you
Mhm.
basically showing up and you know who you got to call each day, basically, and then
Yeah, so my emails makes or break me. So it's like into my emails, everything. And by the time I get to the end of the week, my email box better be empty.
mm,
Meaning that I have a file for every single listing and a file for every single buyer to where I'm filing it into that file system.
got it
And by the end of the week, if I don't have all my emails done, my
clear.
wife knows because she's like, "You got emails?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm. You need to go do those emails? Yes, please. Let me go
Yes,
do
please.
those, and then I'll come back and we
Then I'll
can
come be your
connect.
husband. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can connect and let's do dinner, but let me get these things done,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Good enough. Let's move. Let's keep moving. Advice.
Okay.
What's the advice? This is remarkable. 3 years. Incredible.
Mhm.
Last month you did 20 transactions or 20 sides, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Last month is incredible. What's the
Mhm.
advice for someone who's not doing anywhere near this? What is the advice?
Yeah. Well, one of the principles that I lay on is communication. Communication, communication, communication. Some people are like, oh, well, I am communicating, but are you actually communicating? Because a communication is a multiple. There's multiple receivers and receivers and senders at the same time. So you may think you're communicating to them, but are they understanding you and communicating back? Because if they're
Mm,
not, you miss communication.
mm, mm,
So, and that comes in forms of emails, text messages, phone calls. I can't tell you how many times I reach out to agents and they won't pick up the phone.
mm.
Or
Oh,
or
yeah.
my clients reach out to me, or my future clients reach out and hey, I've called two different agents, they won't pick up their phone, and I don't have any representation and I need to see this house.
Mhm.
All right, let's get you into the house.
You're in luck. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you've reached someone that's gonna. I pick up my phone, and my wife is phenomenal, like I've said. But our communication, she knows when anywhere we go, my phone's right here, right now, and I can see if anyone's calling. If anyone calls, I have an immediate prompt. Hi, with the client, I'll call you right back.
Mm,
But I follow that up. I don't
mhm.
send that and then not call
Right. Yeah.
or tell someone I'll get right back to you and not. Like that is imperative to my business. I know that. I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but if I don't return an email, phone call, a text message, I know that that client may run into somebody else that's going to do that.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
if they don't, that's great. It saves me on one. But even when we went on our honeymoon, guess what? My phone's there. And yes, there's certain times where my phone is off and it's only for us. But every other second of the day, it's on and we know it's with me. Because if we don't answer that phone, and she knows, our business is not gonna grow. And we're not going to be able to be there to help somebody that needs help. And that's why the big push for me to get into the industry is I got burned in two transactions as a buyer. And I
Mm,
was like, I know I can do this way better than the people that represented me. So that was my encouragement to get in and say, you know what, I'm going to be there for clients that need the person to talk to them,
yeah.
that need the extra conversation. It's going to be okay. I know it sounds bad and it looks bad, and the lender is saying that there's some issues that after the appraisal came back, but everything's fixable. So
Mm,
let's work it.
mm.
It's doable. We can get it done. So
So communication, big,
yeah.
big, big fat deal. Know your
Yeah,
numbers.
without a doubt. Know your numbers and be
Numbers.
able and follow up and do the same things you say you're gonna do. If you say
Do
you're
what
gonna
you say
be
you're
there
gonna
at
do.
1:30, be there at 1:30. Don't, oh, I'm here, it's 2 o'clock. Ha ha ha. No, that's
Yeah.
not funny. That's
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful to the other people you said you would be there.
Yeah.
And there's a couple times that I'm a few minutes late, but I was also raised by, well, I was raised by a Marine. So if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
So, and I was very much taught that. I was taught that in a big way. So it's definitely
Yeah.
stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it now because if you say you're going to do something, do something. If you're going to be there, be there.
Yeah, you're talking to a military guy here. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like,
Yeah.
5 p.m. means, 4:45, 4:40, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, good stuff, man. This has been
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah.
But now we come to the
Thanks.
fun part of things, which is,
Mhm.
the real side of real estate. You've only been doing this a short period of time, but I'm wondering if you happen to have one of those, for maybe some of the people that are watching it that don't have the experience that you have, even with such a short period of time, letting us know, what's real. Give us a transaction that you've had that's been like,
Mhm.
wow, that was a doozy, or what the heck happened there? I can't believe that happened. You got any stories?
There's a lot of stories. There's
Well,
a lot of
when
stories.
you're doing,
But we
100
just
transactions a year, there has to
yeah.
be. So,
We
yeah.
well, the good thing is I just closed on one today, which is a perfect example of someone moving here to this area. They needed to sell their house in order to buy another one. So contingency, right? We've all done those, or we're getting ready to do those for the newbies out there. A lot of fun, right? Because now you have two escrows in your head.
Yeah.
And also I had the listing and then I had the buyer.
Okay.
So I didn't just have the two sides of transactions. I also had the transactions in Washington in a different state. So when people are moving down here, it's like, okay, here we go. Let's make this happen. So we get into contract. Everyone's happy. Negotiations go well. Okay, they're happy. They're happy. Okay, now we just need to close an escrow. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you have to close that escrow in order to close this
Correct.
escrow and have your funds. So we have all the inspections go through. Well inspection comes back phenomenal well, 30 gallons a minute. Just it's great, like phenomenal. No one's lived in this house for 5 years, so awesome. Well, still producing 30 gallons a minute. Well's 10 years old.
Perfect.
Well, the well's 10 years old. So's the pump. So's pressure tank. All that kind of stuff. And the next day, I send someone up there to de-winterize the house. Like, hey, get up there, de-winterize it. We need to do a home inspection and get that going. Goes up to turn it on. Pump runs for about 10 seconds and shuts off. Does it again, shuts off. This person's an electrician. Goes to pull amps. And he goes, it's not pulling the right amperage. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We just did a well inspection yesterday. It's fine. It was pumping 30 gallons a minute and it did it for an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
So more than enough. New company go, so then I tell that to the seller. The seller thinks something shady is going on, right? Which it's hard to say that that you couldn't possibly have that thought pop in your head after the day from
Sure.
before.
We just got this grand, glorious report, and now all of a sudden
Yeah,
something's wrong.
yeah, something's very wrong. So then another well company, he wants to use a different one. So I scheduled a different well company. They go up there, they do the inspection. Yep, the pump shot. And I'm like, how's the pump? Riddle me this. And they send up a phenomenal tech and he breaks it down into terminology I can't understand.
Okay.
And he's talking about different particulates and the way that they break down and how the pumps, which we all knew, they're made to be ran every 3 months, 6 months
Oh, yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Well, it hadn't been running. So when it kicked on, it spun around all these built up calcium and all that in the pump. So the pump turned on, boom, hit, ran for, an hour. But once it got done, it shredded everything on the inside of the pump.
Wow.
So when they go up there again, boom, it's done, doesn't work. So
Wow.
now we have to negotiate in a brand new pump with a seller that just had a phenomenal well
Report.
inspection.
Great.
So, and it's like, okay, now how we do? So you got to do what you got to do as an agent. So I'm talking with the seller. I'm like, hey, this is completely up to you. This was the contract, but now this is in there. The buyer is requesting you to place the whole pump system.
Mm,
No, I refuse to do it. Okay, that's fine.
mm,
I talked to the buyer. He refuses to do it. Well, I
yeah.
don't have a place to go, and my house closes in 7 days or 14 days. And I'm like, well, um, we can find you another place. You're buying in cash. We can do this all over again, and we can do it quick. We can get on it quick. And he goes, you know what? Will you at least split it with me? Okay, let me call back. He's willing to split it, right? Through different means. So we split it, we get it done. well pump gets kicked on. Now, all that happened within an hour period because I had to get it negotiated before the well company came off the mountain. Because then it would have cost that much more money
So
to get them back up
this
there.
is literally a okay, got it. Can you wait just a minute?
Oh,
Can you wait
yeah,
just
I'll
a
call you
minute?
right back. Yeah. Okay, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think? How do you want to handle this? These are the options. This is the positive, the negative,
Oh
and
my
this is
gosh.
what we can do. Then going back and then calling the well company. Hey, what can you guys at least wiggle a little bit of room out here? Like
Mm.
you're already there. Can you save us a little bit, like $200 off the yeah, okay, cool, call. Okay, get back to the other person. And got it done.
So you
Okay, let
got
me
this
put the
done. You
paperwork
got all
together.
this done within an hour.
I had to, otherwise they would leave and they were charging 135 an hour. So if I didn't get it done, then my seller was paying $135 an hour for nothing, and I ain't gonna allow
Wowza.
that to happen to my client.
Welcome to
So
real estate.
yeah, so all of that gets done. Cool. Okay, we're good with that. Now we just got to close on his house. Everything else came back fine. So lo and behold, I won't say the lender, but there was a lender to put a loan package together, said it got through underwriting. However, the person that was buying his house was transferring jobs from one university to another university. Well, they said it was going to be fine. Then the lender got a hold of the document and said, that's not going to happen. They have not started their new position and they don't start until July 1st, as in next week. They don't start. So now we're not going to allow it to close until they at least start and get their first paycheck. That's, you're looking at 60 days from the time in which we
From
started
when
and
you
had these
started it.
issues.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
to get
Yeah.
there. And it's like, my buyer is going to be literally homeless. Here's the other thing. My seller,
Brutal.
my seller's agent didn't tell him, hey, don't order a U-Haul. Don't pack up yet. Because if you pack up and you get everything ready and we don't get through C2C and we don't have money from bank, we could get an extension. He did that. She didn't have that discussion. He ended up packing up all his stuff and ordering a U-Haul and then decides to start coming down here. And I'm talking to him.
On the way.
What are you doing? What do you mean? What you did what? Why? Wait a minute. So now I have to call my seller and say, hey, here's what's happening. Is there any way we could get a buyer early occupancy? And he said, well, what's the stipulation? So I walk him through the whole buyer early occupancy. And I'm like, well, he doesn't have a place to live. We were literally supposed to close on this day, and he was mapping it all out based on that one specific day so he could be down here. So I ended up going back and forth, just like with the pump situation, to get him an early occupancy. So he can at least come down and unload his stuff, put it in the garage, and then go back up to get his other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, he gets down here. We're supposed to close the next day. I get a phone call of all of this lending stuff happening. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do here? We need to extend out, obviously. And lo and behold, the lender, the writer, they end up agreeing with the 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 person backing the loan, saying the financer saying, hey, finance it, and we're going to buy it immediately back from you because of how big of an issue this was.
Wow.
Yeah, because none of it should have already been through underwriting. That already should have been figured out. That already should have been a stipulation. And how did that not get cleared with the financer? Like, hey, these are the specifics. Are you okay? Never happened. So now all the documents got to get rewrote after someone already signed. The buyer already signed. So now we got to sign all over again.
Oh wow. What a
So
drag, dude.
yeah, so the buyer early occupancy, I was able to get it from them. So at least both are happy. We close, we fund and record today, and yeah,
It's
that's
okay.
just a Sparks Notes version. Yeah,
Right. Of
for the
just
old timers.
a typical real estate transaction.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you know,
just
like
a little
you
taste.
got to juggle a few things here and there. No big deal. Hey, well, look at it this way. I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't have anything else to do, right? I mean,
Yeah, I love how people do like, what do you agents even do? Like, you
yeah,
get paid
like
so much
it's so
money. What do you even
easy.
do? I'm like, yeah,
Sign
come
a
to
little
my house.
paperwork, get a
Yeah,
big check.
right, right. Yeah, at 1 a.m. where I'm sitting there
Yeah. Oh,
doing
dude.
the connect the dots with
Oh my
all
gosh,
the
dude,
transactions of. how do
That was
these
a good one.
dominoes,
That was a good
it's
one,
like
Andy.
building a card castle, They're like, oh,
It's
you get
so
paid
true
so
though.
much. You don't do much. Give me a
Yeah,
break.
it's really true though, man. You just never know, and you never count your chickens till they're in the bank. That's the way real estate is, man. You just never. It don't matter if you're in contract. It don't matter if things are approved.
Yep.
You never count your chickens till they're in the bank,
Without a
and
doubt.
that's just the way it is. Well, hey, listen, man. Thanks for
Yep.
being. If someone has people in the Northeast California area or Northwest Nevada area, you're actually in Susanville, and of course in that immediate
Yeah.
area, but anywhere
Yeah.
Northeast Cali, Northwest Nevada.
Yeah.
If one of the agents watching this has some people that need to either buy or sell in those areas and they don't
Oh,
live,
without a
they
doubt.
can they refer them over to you?
Oh, definitely. So I have a 2 hour drive from any, like yesterday I was in Dayton, Nevada.
Okay.
So that's outside Carson, right? So Carson, Dayton, Fernley. I'm from
Mm,
Fernley, so
mm,
Fernley, like this whole area is my backyard for the most of my life. So
mm.
so I go 2 hour sphere outside of Susanville. So that's all the way to Reno, Carson, Dayton, Silver Springs, Fernley, and then all the way over to Reading. So
Okay.
that
Wow. Well,
whole
you
general
do
area.
cover some territory. Yeah.
Hmm.
So the phone number 775-815-7974. That would be the
Correct.
right number. And so
Yeah.
if you guys are watching this obviously on YouTube, we'll put that information right down below in the description so you've got it there. So you can contact Andy if you got some peeps in his neck of the woods. You need some help. You want to talk to him about whatever, maybe you got something cooking or whatever the case may be. But wow, Andy Rupley,
Yeah.
thank you so much, man. That was really fun.
Yeah. Pleasure being here.
Congratulations on your great success. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah, just really, really cool, man. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can have you back again maybe sometime. That'd be great to catch up with you again. That
Sounds
would be
good for
terrific.
me.
All right. Well, good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, thanks again, Andy Rupley, everybody. Let's see if my sound effects are still working. Big cheer.
Thank you.
And yeah, you guys have a great day. Be sure to forward, share, subscribe. We'd love to have you do that. And we'll catch you again here next time on Behind the Agent with me, your host, Frank Garay. We'll see you guys later.